And we're live again. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Holy Crap, the Vlogcast. Vlogcast that comes from a skeptical point of view to answer some of the questions of why. This Vlogcast started as a combination of spite and the Streisand effect because what happened last week is there was apparently an update to OBS. And the entire profile that I otherwise have that says, okay, for each scene, this is the text that's supposed to be on the window. These are the pictures that are supposed to be there. These are the windows that are supposed to be up on the screen. And for some reason last week, it said, what are you talking about? So I just spent the last 2 hours putting it all back together again. In some semblance of, I think it's close enough. So we'll just go with that. Part of this is to follow through with the old adage that sometimes the journey is more important than the destination. I'm your main host. I'm known as Shujin Tribble. You can find me pretty much everywhere under that name. That's Shujin. I'm going to say that you should be very nice to me, very, very gentle to me, because I have gone through all of the coffee that I have for the night, and, well, that's just kind of the way that it is. I'm also wearing my traditional headphones because I was so busy, I didn't have time to try to get my Bluetooth earbuds on because I didn't want to screw around with anything after I saw, oh, look, I have to make sure that everything is right. Go me. The way it's going to turn out, however, is we've got something going on. Being able to join me from the Midwest of the U.S., where I'm assuming you've got power. Otherwise, you've got a very, very unhappy gerbil in a cage right now, Brigid Fitch. Good evening.
Good evening. Yeah, we've got power. And like the people up in Gary who've been without power since August the 11th, and they might get it back by Tuesday, maybe?
Yeah, might. Yeah, so, kind of real quickly, what was it that made this power outage happen in the first place?
There was Draco that came through, and I think it was like 99-mile-an-hour winds. But, yeah, we had pretty bad storms pretty much all over the whole state, but Northwest Indiana just happened to get hit the hardest. But there's still no excuse for them to still not have power up there because the surrounding areas that are, majority white people have their power back. Places like Hammond and Valparaiso, so anyway, yeah. I think Gary is like 76% black or 78%, but yeah. So.
Yeah. Now, when I was growing up, living on Long Island, New York, I've talked about this before. Through the 80s, I lived through 3 named Cat 3 hurricanes. It was, and I don't remember the order, it was Gloria, Floyd, and I don't remember what the third one of them was, but be that as it may, the first one that came through, it did a number on Long Island at the time. The guy who was the head of the power company at the time was vacationing in Florida and didn't think that there was any real worry for him. Well, we were without power for about 2 weeks. The entirety of Long Island, which geographically means Brooklyn, Queens, Nassau, and Suffolk counties. So, from Manhattan east out into the water. Was it all without power that whole time? No, not all of it, but a substantial amount of it. And since the vast majority of Long Island at that time was operating on electricity and oil for heating, well, it's all well and good to have the oil, but if you've got no blower motor, well, there's no heat. So, now, admittedly, this puts us into the end of the summer season, so it wasn't that bad. But you consider that there were a lot of folks that ended up with rotting food left over in the refrigerators. We were lucky enough. We had a very large deep freeze stand-up freezer, and my dad had acquired one of those Coleman stoves with the propane tank on it. So we were able to, eat a lot of meat because that's what we had to get rid of. But you can bet there was a big backlash for the president of the power company at the time. The next time that there was a Cat 3 that was coming up the seaboard, he cut his vacation short and he came home and oversaw everything. Hugo, that was the other one, I believe. Might have been. Anyway, so the idea of you guys having 2 weeks of not having power? No, man, 5 days should be the absolute limit. But what do I know? I'm not in healthcare. Oh, right. There's some people that might have problems that way. Yeah, it's moments like this that really make me wonder. New house constructions should probably have some kind of built-in emergency power generation systems to them. Don't you think?
I'm just wondering about the people there who have well water, who have to have electric pumps for their water.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Yep. Exactly right. Because now the best that you can do is drive out to a store, or maybe if you're lucky, a firehouse, with some gallon containers so that you could fill it with potable water for however long that's going to last. Assuming that, gas prices haven't been worse because, well, how in the hell are you supposed to pump it if you ain't got any power coming to your gas stations? But that's a whole other thing now, isn't it?
Yeah, it's bad up there. It's really, really bad. And it's really hot and it's really humid.
So, yeah, we're kind of paying attention to a little bit of that and hoping the very best. Meanwhile, y'all are here with us, and thank you for that. We appreciate it. Sorry for the holdover from last week. I really would have liked to have done the show, but at the same time, is what it is. Tech is going to be gone for probably 2 weeks. He fell ill, so he's got to be doing a little bit of recovery time. And probably better for him to be, asleep, or minimally not talking so much. Don't get me wrong. I'm fine with him not talking so much right now, but, that's a whole other thing for right now. But, of course, if you decide to join us, you can do live and be over there on the live chat, of which, Stephanie, thank you. Again, I appreciate you guys holding over with us, and I'm glad Tech was actually able to tell me, well, just put it in the live chat that, we're being held over for a week. And I'm like, oh, yeah, that would kind of make sense, wouldn't it? So I did. So thank you. Other than that, with any luck whatsoever, I should not have any further technical issues going on for right now. I am not entirely sure. That's my hope. We'll figure it out. And if I got to fix something again later, hey, what else is new? Love doing that whole techie part. But we'll deal with that. Anyway, let me get things rolling because it's only going to be the two of us. And I'm not anticipating, staying around for an entire 2 hours tonight for various reasons. I'll tell you about that. Meanwhile, let me go ahead and get everything rolling over here. So, with 5 minutes on the clock for you, your 5-minute freestyle starts right now. Now, I've talked about this topic many a time. Ignorance is one of those things that, what do you do? After a certain point, what do you do? What can you do? People don't want to admit that they don't know what's going on around them. And, I mean, who really does? There's a stigma that, well, if you don't know, well, you're an idiot, or something along those lines. I don't feel that way. I mean, if somebody honestly and truly doesn't know the answer to something, you know what? I don't know. Cool. I can respect that. That means that it just means that I have to do a little bit more homework on my own to try to find the answer. And I'm okay with that. And you want to know why? Because if somebody can't tell me definitively that they have the right answer, if they're mostly sure, tell me, you know what? I think the answer is blah. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. You know what? That's okay. I'm not sure. I don't know. Is one of the best things someone could admit to. Because it means I could be wrong. Human memory is a weird thing, man. It's faulty. It doesn't remember everything accurately. It does remember a lot of stuff. I mean, you think about how much brain matter there actually is up there and what its overall job is to do and how many memories it actually does store. Holy hell. That's a lot of information. Now, admittedly, a lot of it ends up being compressed or forgotten or stripped of various pieces of nuance, and you get the bullet points of a lot of things, but you don't necessarily remember everything. But then you get the people who actually do remember everything, or seemingly so. People who can literally read a book and just memorize everything about that book that they read, every page number, everything on that page, and book after book after book after book after book, and it's simply mind-boggling to me. Now, funny, I mean, there are a number of pieces of music that I haven't played, or instruments I haven't touched in literal decades, that I can still pull up a lot of that stuff in my head. I'm not going to be nearly as good as what I was back in high school, of course, but I'm not doing that whole, I peaked in high school thing, although there was one thing that I did, but if you don't know something, what's wrong with saying that? We appreciate people who don't allow hubris to bite them in the ass. We like that. We like being able to say, you know what? Let's go hunt down. Because when it comes to knowledge, why shouldn't you? Because for some reason, people think that it's something to be derided. You don't know the answer? How could you not know the answer? What are you, an idiot? What does that do for anybody? I had to deal it's several years ago now. I had to deal with something on Facebook where I literally had to admit I could not fathom that such a thing could possibly happen. It was specifically about people in Hollywood back in the 40s and such, where their love lives were basically manufactured by the studios in order to sell their image and sell their movies and get them in seats. And I actually said, why would anybody do that? The level of vitriol I got for how could you not have known was absolutely astounding to me. I didn't know because, to me, it was simply a concept that I couldn't even conceive of it. Because it's love. You don't screw around with that. So if you end up with somebody who doesn't know something, for whatever reason, especially if they're younger people because they don't have the experience levels that we do, don't give them shit for it. Let them know. You know what? You didn't make up an answer? Good. Let's find out what the right answer is. We're both learning something. Try to be nice to each other, eh? Well, so far nothing is broken on the screen for me, so that's helpful. I'm gonna go with that. And Lexa, I do see that you joined us over here. I can't exactly read it at the moment because my contacts are a little on the dry side. But once I start having, tears starting to form in my face to lubricate everything, I should be in a much better spot. On the bright side, we can go ahead and do the horrible scopes because I've got that nice and big up on my screen. So let's do that. For those of you that know what your astrological sign is, cool. Those of you that don't, you can make it up however it is that you would like to. I keep reminding you all, I have a D12. I am not rolling this anymore because it will roll off the table. How do I know that? Because, well, if you go over to Tumblr, I've been posting the Friday night readings of these. Last week's was about the upcoming movie Coyote vs. Acme, which comes out next weekend. You might want to go to the Tumblr post and take a listen because we had a lot of fun with that one. However, summer is almost over. I know it's still got a little bit of time yet, but it's almost over. And you decided to wait to take your vacation until the very last minute, didn't you? Over the years, we've suggested many different vacation getaways to y'all from time to time. This time, though, we're going to be helping you with the planning stages for your vacation. We're going to help you with the packing to make sure you don't forget that one thing you always forget. And as a bonus, before we start, please remember all your important documents this time, people. Tickets and confirmation numbers are essential. You don't want to have to rent an Escalade when all you need is a Prius. That's a very large, more expensive vehicle than a much smaller, less expensive vehicle to rent. Whatever, I don't know who's got one. Aries, just because you're on vacation doesn't mean your body's inherent ailments take a vacation too. You'll need to make sure that you bring your prescription medication in your carry-on luggage. And sure, yeah, you could just put it in your main luggage. But what if it gets misdirected between destinations? Can you go nearly 2 days without your meds? And be sure you have whatever documentation from your healthcare provider you need to make it official if there are any questions about it. So this week, it's on the bed in the Ziploc freezer bag. It's right next to the luggage. If you don't see it, it might have ended up between the sheets or underneath the pillow. Go look again. It's there. We left it there for you. Don't worry about it. You didn't miss it anywhere. It's there. Just go.
He's right about the medication. My luggage got lost for a week, so yeah. Horace, when we tell you what you tend to forget, just remember it's not what you're thinking it is. A first aid kit. Now hear us out on this one. It doesn't have to be a lot of things, just a couple of simple ones. Enough for a small sandwich bag. A few adhesive bandages, a small tube of triple biotic ointment, a couple wet wipe packs, another couple alcohol swabs, and a few analgesic pills. Seriously, that's all you need. And put that in your main luggage. If you get hurt en route, your transportation group will help you first. So this week, if you need anti-nausea drugs, keep those on your person, but do not overdose on antihistamines. You will fall asleep and be too groggy to navigate at your next destination.
Tell me where the lie is. Gemini, this one is too easy to be forgotten, but it's also the easiest to overlook. A belt. A simple, well-fitting, unassuming belt. You may think your pants fit you perfectly, but if you buy any clothes on the road, you're going to want one for, just in case. So this week, as an aside, by the way, if you're speaking British English, just remember, we're talking about the one on the outside of your trousers, not the one that you wear next to your knickers. Thanks ever so much.
Answer Nigel. The category for you is beach accessories, but that puts too fine a point on it. You'll want to be sure you have lightweight clothing, a swimsuit, a towel, and most importantly, sunblock. Not just SPF 3 million cream, but sunglasses and a hat to keep the sun from roasting your cafe and eyeballs. So this week, just because you're visiting a nude beach doesn't mean you're allowed to wear that it turns transparent when it gets wet swimsuit. Yes, it seems silly, but them's the rules. Be nice about it.
I'm sure there are none of us that know anything whatsoever about white swimsuits and going in the ocean that way. Leo, you don't have to be in Japan to buy underwear from a vending machine, but it is the stereotype to be able to. Some travel and transit hubs will sell 3-packs in gift shops for those who have forgotten their own. It's expensive, it's not very comfortable, but it will work in a pinch. As an aside, by the way, once upon a time ago, I did get the Traveler Special socks from US Air. They're literally just a tube of fabric. Again, they work, but that's about it. So this week, again, for our British English speakers this time, we are talking about knickers. Thank you for noticing, but we also mean socks in this situation too.
Virgo. This category sounds like it should be for the women folk, but that's not how it's meant. You need to be sure to pack your makeup and makeup remover for your trip. We are not just looking at lipstick or blush or concealer or eyeshadow, but anything that will help you look your best for your photos. And it's not just your face. What about your hair coloring? Maybe you want to try changing what shade your hair is or its entire palette. So this week, if you've gone gray, now's the best time to dye your hair anime blue. No bleaching needed. Just be sure to get your eyebrows too.
I had threatened to do all of my hair anime blue long time ago when I still had, color in it. And the lady that would cut my hair would always look at me as just like, nope. It would hurt too much. It is too dark. Don't make me do this. It's okay.
Aww.
Well, she was good about it because the threat was to also do my Van Dyke as well. So now maybe, I don't know. We'll see. Libra, in today's super connected world, you'll be tempted to slim down your electronic footprint, but don't forget the most important piece: chargers. You can also go so long before your phone or your laptop or your tablet runs out of juice. And sure, you can pack a rechargeable battery pack, but some travel groups won't let you bring one along in case, it melts down. So this week, don't just bring the charger, but bring along a travel power adapter so you don't blow up your devices. Because remember, the mains in Britain operate on 240 volts. If you're visiting from North America, your 110 volt device will explode. Just saying. I'm sure I have absolutely no idea how that could have possibly happened.
Scorpio. Half the fun of vacationing somewhere is being able to see the sights, so be sure to pack your vision items. You need glasses? Take 2 pair. Contact lenses? 3 if you have them. And don't forget the saline in the storage packs. Maybe do a deep clean on the contacts before you leave, too. So this week, If you need cheater glasses to read stuff, bring them along too. Don't get all self-conscious. Nobody knows who you are. They won't care what glasses you're wearing.
It's true. Sagittarius, taking your credit and debit cards for payment is all well and good, so long as the processing infrastructure is available for it. But what happens when it's down, or you visit a vendor that can't do electronic payments? You need to bring some actual cold hard cash with you. The best part is what you can do with all that cash. So this week, there is a chance for you to do a video using bills from countries all over the world. Just stack them up, show each one off while singing Yakko's Countries of the World song. Just know that this idea has also already been done. It's still fun, though. Yeah, it was so cool. This guy's got like a stack of bills, and he's flopping it back and forth, and he's just like, yeah, watch this. Starts to play the song, and each bill is from each of the countries as he's singing, well, as the song is going along, and it's like, oh, wait a minute, what happens when you get to the countries that don't exist anymore? How'd you get that?
Capricorn, if we said toiletries, you'd think of some very specific hygiene items, but it's not all of it. We're opening the category to actually be bathroom items, meaning more than just toothbrush, paste, deodorant, and soap. What about travel-sized toilet paper packs? That's actually a thing, and not just in Japan, who seems to be one of the best travel destinations, come to think of it. So this week, maybe you'll want to look into some mouthwash strips too. They come in a little plastic pocket-sized case, dissolve on your tongue, and hurt the first few times you use them. So maybe keep them for a non-coffee-based wake-up call.
It's very true. It's very true. Aquarius, this isn't exactly something to pack easily, but consider buying an umbrella if you're dealing with Mother Nature trying to wash you out. And again, back to Japan. You can buy them in pretty much any 7-Eleven you come upon. But if you're going to do it, don't get a compact or purse-sized one. Get an actual full-length version with the traditional black fabric canopy and umbrella curved handle. So this week, do not try to buy one with a sword in the shaft. Those will get you a special visit with all kinds of security forces. Again, ask me how I know.
Uh-oh. Sees. We know you like using your newfangled Uber Tech over-the-ear headphones, but we're going to tell you to leave those at home. You have a phone or other media player device with a headphone port to plug into, so use that instead. Don't bring your $300 Beats headphones. Just the supermarket grade $10 Skull Candy earbuds on a string, because it'll be just good enough. And if you lose or destroy them, those are nothing to replace. So this week, download an audiobook or 3 to keep you occupied. May we suggest the sci-fi adventure novel Outcast. It's 27 chapters of audio goodness with music and sound effects to help immerse yourself in this I can't say that word. Anthropomorphic world. Plus, it's freely available. Get it now. Links are in the tags.
That was actually something that was done by Dalan. So when I finished writing that up and he's reading through it, he's just like, are you setting me up for something? Are you promoting me? I have no idea what you're talking about, sir. He had to correct me because I had the spelling incorrect for it. But it's all good. I will make sure that the link is available once these get published so that folks can go ahead and download and listen to the stuff. He did a good job on it. Those are your horrible scopes of the week. If you like what you got, hey, enjoy your vacation and just travel safely. As always, if you'd like something nicer or naughtier for yourself or someone else's, you can bribe me with praise or literally send me some money because I could use some money. You don't need all the money that you've got. You could spare with some of it. I should know. I can't. You can do that over at the Ko-fi page. It's coffee.com/Icarus the Lunar Guard. As always, these will be posted at the end of the week. Tumblr, Facebook, Ko-fi, Discord, BlueSky, because that's the way it works. And well, so far we're doing okay, and nothing is... I should not tempt the great God Murphy. I'll just go ahead and say that at the moment things are progressing as they're supposed to. This is episode 576, postponed, on the docket, Your Honor. 1 in 4 Clactons agree. All hail Binface. Now, it's not quite as up to date now because it's a week later, but there were votes taken. There was an election, and Binface came out, unfortunately, not as the winner for the election, which is almost disappointing. But he got a very respectable quarter of the vote. So we're gonna have a little bit of fun at this one. We're not gonna go very deeply into this because we are not experts on British politics, although we do very much appreciate British sarcasm and satire, because holy hell, it's a lot of fun that way. So that we can actually go with the question that I'm going to pose to you, Brigid, right off the bat. What does it say about the body politic that someone like Count Binface got a quarter of the vote in this election cycle?
That people in the UK don't like Nigel Farage very much. They think he's a frog.
I think they think a number of things about him. Fraud, I do believe, might be one of the nicer things that would otherwise be said. But that's just me, what the hell do I know? Man,
I mean, he did end up winning the vote, but not by, like, a huge amount.
No, again, especially considering that is one of the...
There were like 30-something people running, but,
Yeah, but again, a quarter of the vote. I mean, yeah, it's not like it was a write-in campaign for Gracie Allen back in the 40s? I forget when the hell it was. Believe it or not, okay. George Burns and Gracie Allen. Folks would probably recognize the names at the very least. But on their comedy show, Gracie Allen announced that she was going to be running for... She was putting her name in for president, and there was an election coming up. So, and they actually had to be on the air reminding everybody, look, this is a joke. This is a comedy show. She's not really on the ticket for anybody. However, there was a non-zero number of write-in votes for her for president that year. I don't know how many, but it was a thing. Did it sway the election in any way? No. But this is one of those moments where I really have to believe that, and we're gonna kind of deal with the meta on this in just a moment, that the idea that people were saying we would rather take an intergalactic, interdimensional, potential alien overlord over somebody who is proven to be a less than hospitable steward of the people, theoretically. How funny in and of itself is that level of, yeah, I'm on board. I'll give him credit though. He was very nice in his speech, where he went ahead and said, "Yeah, we didn't win, but you know what? It's supposed to be that way," or whatever the hell it was. He said, I forget exactly what he said, but he was cool about it that way.
He made a respectable showing. I was proud of him.
Very, very true. It's very true. Now, Stephanie had pointed out, and I don't remember if it was this week or last week at the time, that I'm not quite sure what the right terminology would be for this. The puppet master behind Count Binface is a very smart, very well-respected, I think, comedian. And I have to admit, the idea that this guy has been making this way for a number of years now, he's found a very good niche for himself, and I wish him nothing but the success that such a position would earn him, because I really, really think that he's got a good spot in continuing exactly this type of poking fun at everybody in politics, because, geez, you guys can get away with doing that. Canada can get away with doing that. Over here, I'm just glad to see that somebody can get away with doing exactly that kind of thing. We've got all kinds of problems with our broadcasters and, not poking fun at people who really deserve it. Moments like this, I wish Dalan was here, because we had talked last night, as a matter of fact, about Mercer. Oh God, Rick Mercer, and the guys at the Canadian comedy groups, Canadian Air Farce, for instance, or This Hour Has 22 Minutes, poking fun at everybody in Canadian politics and literally going up to Parliament Hill and just walking in with the crew and everything, and ambushing some of the folks in elected positions, and just like, "Hey, I want to talk to you about this thing." "Oh, all right, it's you. All right, hang on a second. Let me come on over. What do you want to talk about?" "Yeah, you know what? You're right about that. That was kind of stupid on my part. I'm sorry." And here in the U.S., if you got a film crew, it's not film anymore, I know, and tried to get into Capitol Hill to basically talk with and jibe with any of the elected officials, how long do you think it would be before somebody was literally tackled to the ground by security? I mean, the half-naked guy in the press dinner thing notwithstanding, of course.
I don't know.
I wouldn't expect.
Tell me.
Probably inside of half an hour, tops. From literally parking and unloading and walking up the steps and yeah. Anyway. So for making sure that everybody's kind of on board, Count Binface, he's a caricature. Absolutely. He is absolutely a mustache twirling evil overlord wannabe, and is a caricature. He is performance art. He is, underneath the hood, a comedian, and comedians are smart people. Pardon me. Successful comedians are very smart individuals. Very well informed, know what it is that they're doing, and know how to rope people in so that they are in on the joke. But let me tell you, Never saw something like this coming. I had not heard about this guy until this election cycle that literally just happened. And apparently this is something he's been doing for several years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I both feel bad and feel really good that such a thing happens. And to me, it should be a real wake-up call to the actual fully elected people that, you won the election, but there's a good chunk of people that would rather have an intergalactic, interdimensional alien overlord in the place that you're in now rather than you.
Yeah.
Tread lightly there. And I'm just thinking of all the times when there are write-in ballots and people write in things like traditionally Bugs Bunny, Mickey Mouse, Popeye, the traditional, I'm throwing away my vote kind of thing just because. But he was a legit, wasn't he? On like a ballot and everything. Kind of interesting. Because that's not something that happens every day. And definitely doesn't happen over here without a lot of backing. And I'm finally getting a little bit of focus in my eyes again. I hate it when my eyes get dried out like this because it's such a pain in the neck. Because all right, I want to blink and get the contacts lubricated, but they're dry enough that if I blink too hard or too much or too often, they start to skid around on my eye, and that's not fun for anybody. Trust me, it's not. I'm everybody. Hi.
Well, I mean, we do happen to have something kind of similar that happened back in 2016, if you'll remember. Had a candidate called D's Nuts, and he polled at like 10%. Remember him?
And we've also got, oh God, what the hell is his name? Vermin?
Oh, Vermin Supreme.
There it is. I knew I'd remember that. Vermin Supreme is incredibly famous for being a very wizard-looking older chap wearing a very large welly on his head. Big rubber boot. And I was also just thinking there are a number of local races that end up happening all over the place, where I think it was a town in Alaska, ? Where they voted for the mayor and somebody was running their cat as the mayor. Small town, but still the cat won.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember that.
Okay, Lexa, I hate you. And I'm saying that because I'm currently able to read what you wrote over there. Lexa had written, well, Shujin, as long as the weeping angels don't know you can't see and have to blink, all good. I hate you. I hate you a lot right now. For anyone that has not seen the Doctor Who episode Blink, it is arguably one of the greatest Doctor Who episodes, because the Doctor has all of about, I forget if it's an hour episode or half an hour episode. He has basically, like maybe 7.5 to 10 minutes of screen time. And everything else is everybody else. Not even like the main secondary cast. Just throwaway people. Throwaway situation. It's one of the best written episodes in my opinion. And holy hell, an absolute tearjerker as well. I forgot who it was that wrote it. I think it was Moffat. But, wow. It's a really, really amazing episode. Really amazing episode. And now Lex is saying, I'm a naughty, naughty girl. I know. Currently giggling about that. This is not that kind of stream. Tonight. Don't do this to me now. We're not going to do that. Okay, we could do that, but I don't want to have to explain things to YouTube all over again. Let's be nice about this. In any case. This was bad. So, okay. So Binface goes ahead. He's on the actual, like, ballot. And he gets a quarter of the people to vote for him. Now, of course, you know, there are a number of times in politics here in the U.S. where people will go ahead and they're supposed to be taking a vote on some piece of legislation. And there will be those, especially up in the northeast of this country, who maybe should have gotten out of politics a long time ago, but they will just wait until, you know, the vote is assured one way or the other, and then they will vote opposite, which would otherwise have seemed to have been the right way to vote on a particular prospect. But then, you know, they wait until it statistically doesn't matter anymore so that they can go back to their constituents and say, see, I voted against that proposition. Nothing to worry about. I mean, I'm on your side. I'm thinking about Maine, Massachusetts, some very old woman up that way that really should have just gotten out of politics. I don't know. When was I born? Whatever. Doesn't matter. And I'm not saying it because they're female. I'm saying it because they're old and they are entirely out of touch with their constituency. How do I know that? Because of all the yelling and screaming that happens every time there's a vote, and they complain about exactly that. I'm not entirely tuned in on everything, but I know when I'm going to bitch about something that I'm going to be bitching about it the right way. I mean, if anybody knows about bitching about stuff, it's going to be Brigid, but I mean that's just the way it works. Don't give me shit. So, what would you do? I mean, it comes up. There's an opportunity to vote, and okay, Nigel. You know what? Let's make this easier. We know full well that Nigel's personal way about himself, never mind his political views and whatnot, Nigel is not the nicest of people. He is not the most upstanding of individuals of humanity. You have the opportunity of voting, and you've got him as one of the biggest names on there because, you know, a known name. And then this upstart who has been coming around and is wearing a bucket on his head. Who would you end up voting for?
Not Farage, I can tell you that much.
For a number of reasons, of course. But I mean, we've seen a lot of weird things come through for, who's on a ballot, who's not on a ballot, who's been screwed over from being on the ballot. And I'm trying to think of when was the last time that I saw somebody that was on a ballot where it was more a goof than not. And I think the closest thing that I can think of, believe it or not, was New York City when Curtis Sliwa was trying to run for mayor of New York City.
Ooh.
Well,
not like you made.
The funny part, and I'm not exactly using the right term for it, the weird part, is that once upon a time ago, when the Guardian Angels were of very new things and starting up and trying to help out the city and the people.
Yeah, but that was like 30 years ago. He's changed.
More. Yeah. Yeah. And that's the piece that hurts the most for me. He had a very promising, I'm not going to call it a career because it was a voluntary thing he was doing, but he had a good idea for helping out the populace. And I don't know what the hell happened to him. I don't know what the hell it was that ended up happening to him. He became an old, bitter man. And I say that from the standpoint of looking at him and going, this is what happens when George Carlin didn't just get mad, he got bitter. George got mad in his old age. It's arguable that he got bitter, but he was mad. I believe that he was much more frustrated than anything else. Curtis Sliwa, he became bitter and very much of the I got mine, screw y'all kind of mentality, or so it feels to me. And he ended up epitomizing the whole whichever immigrant group is coming in next, those are the ones that we're going to pick on next. I'm sure I have no knowledge of that whatsoever from having grown up outside of New York City, with the Italians and the Germans and the Caribbean and the Irish and I'm going to use the word because it's accurate for how it was, the gypsies and the Chinese and the Jews, every new ethnic group that comes through, somebody's got always some kind of, they're coming for our places, our apartments, our jobs, our businesses, and we need to keep them in their own separate places and whatnot. And it's like, my dude, it's New York City. Everybody's got an opportunity over here. Isn't that what it's all about? Have we learned that over the last, century plus? Except for the guys from, New Jersey. They, screw them. They can settle on Staten Island. I don't care. It's as close as I want them to get to New York City. That's joke, people. Look on a map. You'll see what I'm talking about.
Well, Staten Island is its own special little thing.
Special is a good word for it. And I'm saying that as somebody who's part of his family lived on Staten Island. So I think some of them still do. Could be wrong. Never mind. But the idea that we've got somebody that can be just this level of sarcasm for politics? Holy shit. How awesome. We should have more like that to keep people a little bit more, on the straight and narrow. Because if somebody is dressing up in a wheelie bin and getting 1 out of 4 people on board with them, yeah, that doesn't exactly speak well to whether or not somebody's going to be able to effectively communicate or effectively govern. And what have we got now? We're still trying to figure out whether or not, oh God, what's his ass? If he's still alive or not.
Who? Mitch McConnell?
Yeah. It's been a little bit since I got looking, but the last I knew, there was supposed to be a very large question mark right now, as in like officially a question mark, because maybe some inside aides might have leaked a possible something or other somewhere. If somebody is pronounced deceased, nominally they would have some official form that would be done by like the county, usually, I would think. Is that something that a public record search could come up with?
I would think so.
That makes for a very interesting moment now. Assuming that such a thing was officially filed or held over, which is a whole other thing unto itself. See, this is what hurts. Because it's absolute sarcasm. And making fun of the body politic. Having Count Binface out there and doing as well as what he did. And getting a significant portion of the population stirred up because of, hey, look, what are your choices? Him or being overrun by my minions for the next however long until the next election cycle comes up or whatever the hell it is. And here we are trying to figure out, well, is this politician who hasn't been in to work in, wait a minute, it was June, if I remember right. So almost 3 months now, hasn't been in work. I mean, I don't know about anybody else, but 3 days of no call, no show. Just saying. Maybe we should ask somebody to turn on those flock cameras and try to find out where the hell he is. How hard would that be to be, utilized and abused? I'm sorry, I shouldn't say abused. What I meant to say was abused. I'm sorry, sure. So, utilizing this intrusion into public sure. No. I'll get this eventually. I'll figure out what the right words are. The words just elude me at the moment. Yeah, whatever. So that's a whole other thing. What I wanna bounce off of you, because this one's really tough to try to find a way into and through and try to find a good pathway for. This guy's been doing it for a number of years. Why now? Why is it made the news circuits over here now? Because I've got a possible idea, and I want to bounce it past you if you don't necessarily touch anywhere close on this one. Why do you think it's popped up now?
What, Mitch or Binface?
Binface. I mean, Mitch. We know full well that the secrecy and the corruption for our federal level guys is absolutely amazing. But
I think Binface took off here due to the advent of social media.
well, I mean, he's been doing it for some years, but
I mean, he has been, but I think we found out about it over here mostly because of social media and got a lot of traction on Reddit and on BlueSky and Twitter and some of the different news aggregators have carried stories, from the UK and stuff like that. I mean, I was aware of Binface, for several years, but I would not expect most people in the U.S. to have been. And I was only aware of him, honestly, because I'm a Farker. And I've been on Fark for like 17 years. And so, of course, he popped up on Fark because it's just the nature of Fark.
because the absurdity of it just fits the bill. Exactly right.
Right, right. So, I mean, that's what I think is, because it did take off on, I mean, it was on Bard, of course, but then I, saw stories on him on Reddit and Blue Sky and places like that. So,
Yeah, that's fair. It's absolutely fair. God, I feel like such a pleb that I'm completely out of the loop on this one until all of a sudden it just bashed into my face. That's great. That's great. And there's a piece of me that's wondering if part of the reason why it attention for him came on the scene for us was it's just another distraction. Cynical as it might sound like, maybe it's just another opportunity
probably
to.
so, because we have so much crap going on over here that it's, something to cut through the noise that is not related to here. So we would kind of find it humorous, entertaining, something different.
And we do. Fair enough, we do.
And, even the people at NAFO got in on it because, I mean, to be honest, things have not been the same since Twitter went to hell as far as like NAFO activities and fundraising and shit posting and things like that. You just can't really shit post on Blue Sky. It's just not the same. And we don't have
Yeah.
Russian bots over there to dogpile on, so it's just not the same. And so the good fellas at NAFO found another cause in promoting Binface, which was actually kind of fun.
That is actually really okay. I've completely forgotten. Very quickly, just because I just suddenly realized, NAFO is again what?
It's the North Atlantic Fella Organization. It's a take on NATO, and it's international, but it's a bunch of, brain damaged cartoon dogs that would make memes and raise money for Ukraine and, different causes, like, I don't know, field equipment, medical supplies, drones, I mean, all sorts of stuff. But, the fellas have been feeling kind of down because fundraising has kind of screeched to a halt. We're still raising some money over on BlueSky, but it's just not as much. But getting behind the Binface campaign gave them, you know, a new breath of life, a new cause, something to do to, share memes and try to get people to show up to vote for Binface. And it was kind of fun to see the fellas have another cause to participate in. So yeah, the memes were flying. It was great.
Pretty amazing. Pretty amazing that that NAFO has such a presence. I still love the idea that there were some official organizations who completely missed the point of it all and were just like, well, it's a whole bunch of terrorists and they're people who are trying to make this psyop all over the world in order to make things bad for the nice people over there in Russia, and people are just like, my dudes, this is just a bunch of people who are just making a joke. You're obviously not getting the joke.
Well, and it was for a good cause. I mean, we raised millions of dollars.
Yep.
And even got awards from President Zelensky, got 2 awards from them, got awarded the Lithuanian, what was it? The Lithuanian Medal of Diplomacy, which is not bad.
No.
Got that in 2023. And even got recognition at Vilnius, Lithuania, at the UN summit there. And actually in Europe, we became a pretty big deal. We were on all kinds of news shows. We were in magazines. We were in The Economist. I'll end up throwing the Wikipedia link into the show notes. But what was it? Okay, it was the Lithuanian Star of Diplomacy. That was the name of the award. But that is the highest civilian award that you can get from that government. So that was a pretty big deal.
It's also it's also an amazingly big deal. The fact that NAFO was able to do all this over the course of a weekend. I mean, the weekend that it was supposed to take for Russia to take over the Ukrainian countryside. Oh, wait.
Yeah, and we've still got, organizations like the Georgian Legion going on in the 69th Sniffing Brigade, and well, it branched out into so many different organizations, and we're still raising money. Every Tuesday we have Toonie Tuesday, which, Toonie is the, Canadian $2 coin thing. And then we have Fiber Fridays, and so we're still doing fundraising, we're still here.
Still doing a thing.
Still doing the thing. It's just we can't really shitpost anymore. And, and I have to say our claim to fame, the biggest thing that we ever did besides raising all this money, was running off the Minister of Foreign Affairs from Russia off of Twitter.
Alrighty then.
Yeah. And ended up selling merch off of it because he got shit posted by like a whole bunch of dog memes because he was pronouncing nonsense. Okay, let's just put it that way. And so the rebuttal was made, you pronounce this nonsense, not me. And of course that became a catchphrase, but yeah, we ran him off of Twitter. He closed his account.
I believe I speak for us all when I say, aw.
And I have to say we because I was a part of NAFO by the time that this happened. I got in on it a couple of months after it started.
You got a patch and everything, didn't you?
Yeah. And I've got several avatars that are really cute. And yeah, so as far as like the group awards and all that, I was there when those happened. I was part of that. So yeah, they go on my resume, of course.
That's pretty cool.
But Wikipedia did decide at one point they finally came down on the side that we are a psyop. Oops.
I mean, if you call satire sort of a psyop,
Well,
or
we kind of did give the impression that we did because people thought we were in the CIA. Okay. Some of the
yeah,
nuts did think we were in the CIA and a CIA psyops, but did we ever do anything to play into that idea? Like changing our locations to Langley, Virginia? No, we wouldn't do that.
I mean, anybody can say anything. I mean,
But
I can claim to be the diplomatic attaché to the military dictatorship of Tribaldom, and
but
I
they would
do.
accuse us of being in the CIA. And so we would, truthfully come back and say, we're not in the CIA. Why would we be in the Culinary Institutes of America? Dogs can't cook.
Okay,
Well,
okay, that's okay. It's well played.
why would we?
No, I'm okay. No,
We eat kibble.
I'm, 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 I'm sputtering over here because once upon a time ago, remembered that I remembered that it was called the CIA, and they played up into that, and I'd forgotten about that.
And and we did give Karen over at Redacted some shit for being stingy with a kibble.
Guys are funny as hell.
But the CIA does not exist.
Well, I mean that's why the government's built birds. Birds aren't real. But that's a whole other thing for another day.
So anyway, that's NAFO. And it started in trying to remember what date it was, March 3rd. Right after the war started, right after the invasion. I think the invasion started on February 22nd, something like that. So,
Yeah, and it's amazing how long that weekend has lasted at this point.
it's been a really long 3-day special military operation. So, yeah.
Man. It also just really hurts to know that it's been like that. It's a whole other thing.
Yeah.
The biggest problem about this whole thing is it's tough to I know I normally try to hold a little bit more professionalism holding this spot and less personal, but this is one of those times I'm going to go ahead and, well, it's not just you specifically, but pretty much everybody at the moment. This whole thing sucks. And it's not just the stuff with Ukraine and Russia. It's the fact that there is this, and I don't even know how to really properly describe it. I know I'm billed as being so incredibly cynical these days in my life, and you know, I get that there are a lot of pieces that I really am. But the idea that in so many ways my country's political landscape feels less supportive of the general populace than places like Ukraine, where they are under siege from an incredibly large, we otherwise thought, overwhelming military. And yet, even inside of it, as much as they have to worry about, you know, what's going on with day-to-day military operations heading off into areas that should be off limits because the rules of warfare, and yet they, as hurt as they are, generally speaking, they're all trying to support each other, work with each other, bring everybody up. In a way, Binface has kind of done the same thing. Look, things are pretty crappy. They gotta be really crappy with this guy. I'm trying to show you that there's a way through that, even if it is through the absurdity. And yet, for whatever the hell reason, over here in the US, maybe it's my generation showing, but it's like the scene from Blazing Saddles. Son, you're on your own. Do you kind of feel the same way also, or is it just me?
One more time, I was multitasking. I was pulling up stuff for show notes. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I saw the stuff kind of blipping over there. The idea that there are all these places where, you know, Ukraine still having battle, you know, warfare. Oh. The countryside that shouldn't be involved in the direct firefighting every once in a while gets hit with something, but collectively they're still helping each other. Binface comes out on the scene and says, hey, look, shit's going to be really bad with this guy, but look, the absurdity of it is, how much worse could I possibly be compared to this guy? Come on, we can actually work through this together. Versus, and again, maybe it's the cynical part of me, maybe it's the Gen Xer coming out of me, but that here it feels like, you know, son, you're on your own. Does it really feel that way to you too? That in too damned many ways, compared to all these other places, we're just kind of just set adrift and we're on our own to figure this shit out?
Well, I mean, we kind of are. At least for the next couple of years. I mean, it could be longer if people don't get off their asses and do something. Which is one thing that I'm worried about. One thing that I can tell you from my point of view is these, you know, little protest things that we've had like every 3 months or so, that does nothing. And what I don't understand is why, with everything going on and with more things being added to it daily, why people are not out in the streets all the time. Albania is. Albania has been in the streets for months. and people in Georgia have been in the streets for over a year now. But I'm wondering, what is it going to take? And I don't know if it's because people are too overwhelmed, if they're too busy, or if they're just apathetic.
There's another possibility that came to mind immediately for me. Economically, how much can you do? With people, so many people living barely paycheck to paycheck, month to month, how much can you actually afford to take away from whatever you can in the rat race that we have?
But the thing about it is they're going to take even more away. That's the thing. One thing that wound up on my radar within the last couple of days, it doesn't directly affect me, but it could at some point, is how we have community services to help people who are disabled. That way they can get to work and live independently and, get care inside the home if they need to, so they're not institutionalized. Those programs are being taken away. Now, once they are gone, what's going to happen to those people? I guess they're going to be institutionalized. Is that really what we want?
Especially considering what quote-unquote institutional living is like.
We know what that's like. People are going to die.
You think some people never read up about what Nellie Bly did for her investigative journalism in New York City in the day? Okay, I shouldn't put it.
Just because you're hard of hearing or just because you're blind, does that mean that you need to be in an institution? I guess it does now.
Yeah, and I should reference that very quickly. Nellie Bly was an investigative journalist in New York City once upon a time ago. She was not viewed as being someone at the time to be considered as being, that worthy, because, journalism is men work. She had herself intentionally committed to a psych ward at the time so that she could go undercover and find out how bad it actually was in there. And it was a chore to get herself back out again. Eventually she was able to, got a little bit of help to get that done, and wrote her piece about what happened and basically brought down the institution and the people that were operating it. I'm not going to say running it, because it was bad. As bad as you think that it probably was, it was probably worse than that even. So, just, yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to say that I can understand it, because I still think it's wrong. People with mental problems, I can see why they might want to put those people in an institution. But just because you have some physical disability, I mean, what the fuck? Because those people can still work. They can still get around. They just need some help. And it's more expensive to house these people in an institution. It's not going to save money. I mean, the cruelty is the point.
And ain't that the truth?
And I realize a lot of this was in Project 2025, but still.
But still. We're going to be getting out of here very, very, very soon, because I was not anticipating it being this rough to talk through, because the more I think about how uplifting Binface is, believe it or not, as a joke, as a fun piece, I should say, because oh my god, it's so nice to have something fun going on for a change. The more I'm realizing how, by comparison, it sucks for us over on this side. So before we get out of here, I wasn't anticipating doing this, so if this is kind of a little bit of a left turn, I'm sorry. On the complete opposite end of the feeling bad about ourselves and everything over here, can we just really quickly mention how incredibly refreshing, how fun, how absurdly mirthful it is to see what's going on with Mamdani in New York City, and how he is just uplifting people left, right, and center, and bringing back the feeling of, holy crap, we can actually get through all this together. We can actually be together and look out for each other and be good stewards for everybody else around us. Gods, I've not felt that in a long, long time. And I'm on the opposite end of the state from that. Man, that is nice to see, isn't it?
He's a rock star.
True that. And you know what's even the best part about it? And it's, I'm not even exaggerating. The man cares. I mean, he did a short video. He posted a short video, completely staged. I mean, come on. How people took pictures of him while he was out on his bicycle and were just like, Your Honor, please, could you, keep yourself safe? We want your brain to be, protected and whatnot, because, you're being a nice guy. You need to, make sure that everybody sees that you're doing things the right way so that the kids follow you along. And, the video is of him reading all these comments, and he's just like, huh, you know what? You're right. And he gets himself a bike helmet and he puts it on. It's just like, okay, you guys are right. I'll make sure that I do better. I don't remember if he actually literally said, I will do better, but the entire countenance of him was exactly that. You know what? You're right. Thank you. I will do better. How goddamn refreshing that is. I don't know what to say about him. Is this what it can really be like again? Is there an opportunity for there to actually be a renaissance of people trying to be nice to each other, to actually follow the whole rising tide lifts all boats kind of moment?
Well, I mean, I can tell you this, there's a lot of people out there who wishes they had him for a mayor. A lot of people.
That says something. That says something like crazy. And Stephanie's also, I'm sorry, Stephanie's also pointed out, and don't worry, I'm reading you guys as I'm going along. Mamdani providing free childcare to give parents a break is great, especially as this is not simple babysitting. The kids get to have fun too.
Yeah.
Damn.
I mean, there's your pro-family right there.
Hell yeah. every once in a while, somebody just needs, a half an hour away just to decompress. What's wrong with that?
But all these people that talk about being pro-family, that is pro-family.
An
Other
opportunity.
people can just shut up.
An opportunity for parents to have 15 minutes to just go outside and get an ice cream from the ice cream truck coming through, and just eat an ice cream together for just 15 minutes just to get away. I mean,
What I think is funny, though, is you've got these far-right talking heads that can't stand him. He's a threat to human civilization. Or something.
or something like that.
Why they don't like him, I don't know.
Oh, we know. We know for well. Because he's a nice guy with darker skin. Even if only just because of... I'm trying to figure the right way of putting it other than, but there is no other way, other than personal prejudice. That's all it comes down to.
I'll step some pictures for you in the host chat.
I will be checking that over momentarily. Lex is also put over here, and I did see that when you first posted it over there. It's what we need far more of. And it is encouraging and shows there really are other ways of doing things that aren't a constant misery circus of buffoonery and BS. I would like a gold star for cold reading that correctly. Thank you very much. You got some good words over in there and some curious pronunciations that I had to jump through a couple of hoops on. I'm a very good cold reader. Thank you very much. Or at least I used to be once upon a time ago. It's a music thing. But Stephanie had also pointed out, Mom Danny's arranged for them to have about 6 hours. Time to get the house cleaned or go out for a date night. Damn. My situation would not have made that for an easy way of doing it. What with having the baby, the cancer, the whole thing. Would it have made it terribly easier? Maybe. Probably. But I can only imagine a family of 3, 4 kids, maybe, in some situations, having a couple of hours just to spin down for a little while. Man, what a difference that would make for so many. It's going to be one of those things that we'll get to find out how good it really was, 10 years down the road? Another data point we can keep track of, eh? I was about to say that, yeah, we'll see how that works. Except that we've seen good stuff work with knowing stuff because, we talked about Sesame Street and public broadcasting and the stuff to help kids learn. And that the change was very immediate. Be really cool to have people just gentle to each other for a change. Anyway, I'm to the point where I don't have anything valuable to add on in my capacity right now. I apologize that I don't have as much as I would have otherwise liked to have. It's been a weird week on top of everything else. Did you have anything that you wanted to add or finish off with on the official on this one before I get us kind of closing out?
I don't think so.
All right. So not exactly on the official, but semi-official. Last weekend, I also had I had also taken my son out to Ohio. 4.5, give or take, about a 4.5 hour drive out to Ohio. He's going to be working at an amusement park out that way, fairly prominent one. And he's already hard at work in their costuming shop, which is actually in his degree. So, it's a good starting off point. He'll be doing that for a couple of months because, Fright Fests or whatever Halloween horror themed stuff. He did some horror themed makeup and costuming ideas and whatnot back in school. So, he's actually got something approaching knowledge about this, which is, a huge help, of course. So it's a little bit of a weird retransition for me again. After, off again, on again, he's here in the house. He's not here in the house because it's back at college, back for the summer. And, this for me right now is kind of that in-between point of this is the first big step actually away now, and one of these times I'm going to help move him, and it's going to be the last time that he'll be here in this house. And I've kind of got a little bit of that in my head. Am I sad about that? Kind of, but at the same time, I want him to be happy, and I want him to be fulfilled, and it's the nature of things, right? Besides, the idea that kid got himself a job in his degree field? Oh yeah, I'm proud about that. And my wife would be too. So I got that going for me. So thanks for putting up with me for tonight. I appreciate it. Otherwise, we'll get ourselves going out of here. Thanks for being with us, guys, and thank you for putting up with pushing back the time frame on this one. I apologize for the tech problems last time. Thanks for putting up with me now. We will see how that plays out. Lexa, Stephanie, again, really just thank you. You guys take good care of yourselves. I know the weather is supposed to be leveling off at this point, according to the calendar. Just still stay safe. Temperatures are never fun when the humidity starts matching, way too high. Just be careful out there. Brigid, I'm glad you were able to make it. I'm glad that you've got power, at least, and holding yourself together a little bit. Who or what is getting your big everything? Because, as usual, there's no lack of opportunities here, and if you want to take a twofer, feel free.
I'm gonna go with Pete Hegseth in canning the editor and a couple of reporters from Stars and Stripes, because how dare they, exercise their journalistic prerogative to report things. Go fuck yourself.
That one ends up being a kind of a weird one for me. Also, not that I'm disagreeing with you. But Stars and Stripes is operated from inside of the military itself, is it not?
Yeah, it's a military publication, but he should butt out. They have been independent for decades and decades.
Yeah. And what gets me is, would they qualify as having First Amendment protections? Because you and I know full well we've kind of gone around on this one in some ways or other. When you are in the military, you're not exactly under all the same protections exactly as the public is, being that they are working at the behest of
But they do, and they're not supposed to be censored.
But it's a journal operated by the government, which kind of makes it this whole big pretzel of who has the last say in how it's operated. Like I said, I'm not saying that I disagree with you in any way, shape, or form. I absolutely agree with you. It's just that it feels like it's this big, like I said, this big legal pretzel of who's supposed to be able to do what kind of thing. And I still think it's all kinds of skeevy no matter what. So, yeah, I agree with you on this.
And I'm also going to throw a what the fuck out there to this whole we're going to import ground beef tariff free, but we won't tell you where from. And there are some people who are wondering, okay, is it even really going to be ground beef because of all the Mustangs that we're exporting for slaughter? So, it's kind of gross.
On top of that, I also saw something from one of the artists that I know in Canada. They are bitching because the tariff system that is going into place, has gone into place, is going, whatever, was also going to be on anything that would be imported across the border from Canada to the US that included what she does at this point, which is art. She is a professional artist, does commissions for folks, especially, admittedly, in the furry circles. Well-respected person. She and I know each other. And we've interacted on several occasions, touch base when we've gotten together at conventions, when, you know, I get the chance to check it and see how you doing, how things going, how's going on with the hubby, things going good for you guys, what's up with the house, how things going. And now artists are being impacted by this. I don't know, man. None of this seems to make any kind of sense whatsoever. Probably because it actually doesn't.
Well, it doesn't make sense. None of it makes sense. This whole sidling up to North Korea and cutting ties with South Korea makes no sense. None of it does.
You know, if ever there was an opportunity to say, hey, why not try some magic mushrooms and see if maybe any of this stuff works better in my head, this feels like that would be that time. But since I can't afford that, how about I just turn on some HR puffin stuff and see if that helps my brain instead.
It won't make any more sense, I promise you. Don't ask me how I know that, but it won't make any more sense.
That's fair. Anyhow. Oh, and just really quickly, the last item. There is no reason for the Navy to change the name of a boat to a living entity, nor to jump backwards an extra 50 plus years in technology and reuse a steam catapult system again. Once upon a time ago, we still had adults in the room. We don't. And I'm going to say to you, all of you people, same as I said to Dalan last night, as one of those people living in the apartment underneath you, we're really sorry about our roommate. We're trying.
It's got to be scary living above the meth lab. It just got to be.
Yeah, it is. We got it out. Y'all have yourselves a good weekend, or remainder of it. Please stay safe this week. As always, we hope that things even out. And just to get it out of the way, if there is a significant worldwide notice of an event, you can be sure as shit we will be on live streaming, because when the time comes, yeah, we'll be here for you. Meantime, please take care of yourselves. We will be, with any luck, back again next week. As far as to what's going to be happening for the week ahead, who in the hell knows? Just know full well we'll do our best to be here for you. If you want to be in touch with us for any reason, yes, the Facebook presence is still there, but don't rely on that. BlueSky or Discord are probably your best ways of getting to us if you need to. Other than that, we will see you as soon as we can. So until the next time, as always, I wish you the peace I no longer have. I wish you the strength that I have learned. I wish you well, my lady, 21 years plus. I am still in love with you, you know. Wow. Matane Fujin. I love you. I miss you. Dream of me. Kid's got himself a good job. All right. So, until that next time we're together, everyone, as always, good night.